folks, welcome back. We are ready to rock and roll. I'm on. We are ready to rock and roll, folks. Do not miss out. We got a brand new product.
Brand new deal, never before seen. I'm excited about it. You're not going, this is awesome.
Never before seen. It's getting write-ups all over the Beckett's and everything else. Never before seen.
There's a place in this town where kids learn the wrong things.
Stack of dimes.
A place where they keep a vicious secret.
Stack of dimes.
A place controlled by people who profit from pain.
Stack of dimes.
Now, this town's vicious secret is exposed. There's only one thing to do. Get ready for
Stack of Dimes. Stack of Dimes. Stack of Dimes. Stack of Dimes.
Stack of Dimes. We are the podcast that is now available in a career box set. Now we only have a limited 50 of these right now. So if you call into our number, it's only $100. We have 50 of these career set SOD podcasts box sets that are sealed Gem Mint 10 right now.
I was just going to say Gem Mint 10.
No, that's a lie. We don't have anything like that. And if you've listened to the show long enough, you know we've only rarely got our shit together enough to make any sort of products. And
we can't even soundproof the Roden Family Fun Center.
No,
so.
And that was decades ago that we did some bullshit like that. How are you, sir?
Oh man, I'm doing okay. I got bursitis. You ever had bursitis?
Does bursitis come and go? I thought you just either had it or you don't.
Yeah, you can kind of treat it with like anti-inflammatories and some ice packs and stuff like that, but I got it in my shoulder.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Real good shit. Let me tell you. This getting old thing is just the tits.
I probably have it, would be my guess. I know my old man used to talk about having bursitis all the time.
Yeah, my bursitis is acting up.
Yeah, it's acting up. I probably do. You know, I've got shoulder problems and elbow problems that I've had from punching things since the age of 15.
Yeah.
So I'm probably got something like that. I mean, my shoulder's always whacked out. My neck's always whacked out. You know that probably. Anyways, Roden is joining me on this episode. We are in the Roden. In fact, the Roden Family Fun Center, just like you said. God bless. I don't know the last time I did an SOD. It was with JD, but probably before Christmas would be if I remember correctly. So,
yeah.
So we got some time here. We decided to do an SOD instead of doing a You Blew It. And you had something you wanted to talk about. You wanted to get off your chest there.
Well, so I've got, as most listeners know, I've got 2 children, about the same age as JD's kids. Mm-hmm. And one of the things, you know, that we've noticed is that there's a lot of these crazes that are still going around. This is a, phenomenon for first world countries and societies set up on capitalism.
Yes, sure.
Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep.
And right now we're going through this weird shit with these Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
You heard about this?
I have seen stories about this at work, and I don't have the energy nor the patience to delve into what the fuck this is. It just sounds like
fucking stupid.
White women Karen bullshit is what it sounds like to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
Giant water cups with a built-in straw, with a built-in silicone straw.
Okay.
That's like a weird little like dingle-dong thing that's sticking up out of the top cap of this thing. Uh-huh. But that's it. It's a fucking Stanley Cup, and kids are going nuts over it.
Oh, it's kids that are going nuts.
I think both of my children wanted one for Christmas.
So I thought this was a thing that like wasn't Starbucks. Is this a different craze that I'm thinking of?
This is a different craze. It's still a cup.
But no. But Starbucks has teamed up with Stanley, I think, and they're doing.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Because I saw some grown man fighting a woman in a Walmart trying to steal, because they released these cups. And they give the date of when they're gonna like hit the streets or whatever, and there's all these people fighting over it and shit. And
right, and then there was this other lady. It just there was this news story that I happened upon just 2 days ago. Where this lady got arrested because she worked at like a Walmart or a Target or something like that. And she was just like buying up or stealing the Stanley Cups and then selling them at like a massive markup on
Was she like
eBay
setting
or
them
something?
aside or something and then
Yeah,
and then buying
she had them all in her car.
Jesus Christ.
And she got busted for like $2,000 worth of Stanley Cups or something.
Good
like
Lord.
that. Yeah, and it just reminded me, it's like, man, how many of these crazes have we gone through?
Oh yeah.
In our society since the 80s.
It's just wild to me why some things catch fire and how like massive they become. I don't understand. And obviously someone would be saying like, oh, if you understood it, then you'd create your own craze and try to capitalize, make some money off of it. But I mean, well,
that's why we do this podcast.
Yeah, of course.
The people fight over it.
Yeah. And we knew that there'd be a podcast craze at some point. And we're just trying to,
and we missed that the first one.
Exactly.
But
it'll come around again.
It'll come around again at some point, and we'll be ready.
Yeah, we're going to be ready.
We'll be ready.
Time, for
you're
sure.
You're gonna fucking get in a fight with another pod dad.
Yeah.
Getting into Toys R Us, fighting over the next episode of SOD.
I'd love to beat the shit out of some guy outside of Toys R Us over a podcast, dude. Punch it, but two guys pushing 50 fighting in the parking lot of a fucking Toys R Us. That's exactly what I need right now.
Yeah. You have to get one of those little paper slips and take it up to the electronics counter to get your episode. Wouldn't that be great?
What was that? Was that the worst when you were like, oh fuck, I'm getting this game. There's one last slip left. You go up, you take it up there, and they're like, yeah, I'm sorry, we don't have that back there.
We don't have that. We're out.
We're out.
Or the slip's not there, and it just like, it looks like the slip. There's a slip in there.
Yeah,
but there's no slip in there. That's the thing that would always get me.
Oh no, the thing that would get me is when the slip is there. Ah, fuck, I got the last one. You go up and they're like, yeah, sorry, our count was off. I don't know why this was out there.
Yeah, we just like, we put like 75 of them in each slot. Yeah, yeah. The thing that bugged me about
if you don't know what we're talking about, by the way, back in the day, if you'd go into Toys R Us to buy a video game or an electronic, they had like a little, like it was almost like one of those lanyard type things that you'd stick, like a plastic, you'd stick a badge in, but they'd have like the amount of slips of paper for how many product they have in the back room, because they wouldn't set this stuff out because
they just have something on a display shelf. Yeah. It would be a display copy.
You'd pull the slip.
Yep.
Take it back to the counter, and they'd go in the back room and get you the video game or get you the product that you had, the SNES or whatever it was.
It's a good system, but they just never counted right.
No, hardly ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that bugged me is that every time I went to, go look for a game that I wanted, in particular, I think I do remember this happening with Mario Brothers 3 on the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Huge game. And it was always sold out. But you know what was always there? Star Tropics. A game that I never had any fucking interest in playing.
Star Tropics.
I think it was a kind of like a Final Fantasy role-playing game. Yeah. Not for me. Not for me at that age.
Is that because it was like in the S's right next to Super Mario Brothers 3 was Star Tropics?
Yeah.
The thing that pissed me off, I can't believe we've gone askew here, but
way askew.
But I guess there's video game crazes.
Sure, yeah.
The original NES for me and the Super NES, those were huge crazes back in the day.
Yeah,
they were like, but
it was the same thing. It was like people fighting over them. You couldn't find one.
Yeah.
When they first came out,
the SNES for sure.
Yeah,
the Nintendos were like a slow burn, because when they first came out, everybody was kind of like, I don't know. I had an Atari, and we don't even play that anymore. Do it because remember there was
I thought it was fanatical.
No, it took a while.
Did it really?
Yeah, because if you remember, there was the video game bust, and so I had an Atari. You're probably too young for this, but we had an Atari 2600.
Yeah, no, I was just getting into them at this point, I think, because I also had an Atari, but my main go-to was the Texas Instruments one.
Wow.
That it was like an Atari. So, yeah.
Atari, ColecoVision,
Yeah.
all of the that generation of those systems, they had that big crash where they were just putting out so much garbage games, and they were so expensive.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the 2600 was shitty.
All those systems were shitty.
We got it
were
home.
terrible.
I remember the year we got it. I didn't quite understand what it was. My brother had to explain it to me, my older brother. And we were like, oh, we got Pac-Man now. We'd play it. And even as like a 5-year-old, I was like, something's not right about this.
Well, the joysticks sucked.
The joysticks sucked.
They were too hard.
Yeah, you had to like...
Yeah, you had to really crank
it over. And then the graphics were garbage. The sound was garbage. Everything about it was pretty much garbage. And even as a kid, I was like, well, I thought this is like Pac-Man. And then my brother would have to explain, well, yeah, that they can't do that at home. Those are too high powered. But this is like... And so we lost interest in that system. I don't even remember playing it that long.
Yeah.
I remember like getting over it very quickly.
Yeah, I think I did too. I would go back to it every once in a while because
much like
false memories.
Yes, I was going to say much like a Snyder movie.
Right.
You'd go back and give it a chance.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You'd realize, oh no, this is dog shit.
This is dog shit. And I still, to this day, like you just said, I watch those Snyder movies every once in a while,
and they're dog shit.
It's like, oh man, this really is bad.
I at one point put I won't even go as far back as the Nintendo now. Because I did get one of those Nintendo minis. Uh-huh. I wish I would have got an SNES mini, a Super Nintendo mini.
That's the one that I got, and we will sit down and play Super Mario. What is that?
Super Mario World, is that what it is?
Is it Mario World? Yeah, I can't
maybe
remember.
not.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. That was a great game.
Great. It's a great game still to this day. Fantastic.
I got one of those regular NES minis and just realized I don't like these games. They're frustrating to play.
Yeah, they're really hard.
The ones that have good controls are like Super Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers,
Mega Man 2.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I've played these games enough. I don't really have any interest in playing them again. And then most of the stuff that I haven't played that's on there.
Yeah,
like I think there's like some sort of shoot 'em up where you're a spaceship, almost like Defender, but it's
R-Type.
No, I fucking love R-Type.
Yeah,
and the best version of R-Type is on the TurboGrafx 16. So I played the shit out of that, and still to this day on my TurboGrafx Mini, if I turn it on, I go to R-Type.
Yeah,
it's a fucking awesome game. But the other one that was like a Konami game, it was like a weird, not Galaga 90 or Galaga 88. That was like more of a almost like
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's shitty. I mean, it's just and I was
it's kind of like 1942.
No,
right,
not that.
Top down.
No. It's left to right, side scroller.
Oh, okay.
It's like Defender, but it's a weird name. Anyways, I'm like, oh, I never played this. Cool, it's on my Mini. Let me give it a shot. Oh. Right, it's an 8-bit Nintendo game.
Yeah.
And I'm pushing 50. I have no patience for this. The controls suck. There's a bunch of flashing because of too many moving sprites on screen.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bunch of slowdown. I'm like, what the fuck? Well, this is garbage. What am I doing?
Yeah.
So my nostalgia I can't go back to the 2600. I mean, when we got the Nintendo, me and Kurt, we used to share a bedroom, my younger brother, and we took the 2600, we put it in our black and white TV in our bedroom. We're like, we'll have the Nintendo out in the nice color TV.
Yeah.
We'll have this on our shitty
Never
TV.
touched it.
Oh, we tried. We tried. We had pole position for it. It was fucking trash.
Yeah.
It was so ridiculously hard to play. We had Double Dragon for the Atari 2600 that we got in a $5 bin at KB Toys. The most frustrating game you've ever tried to play in your life.
Oh,
Double Dragon on a
2600
with one button and that goddamn joystick.
Yeah.
So, fuck, man. I can't go back to that shit. Anyways, how do we get to here?
I don't know.
Toys
R Us.
The funny thing about that whole setup at Toys R Us too was they had to manufacture those the actual game slip thing, not the slip, but the the cover? What would you call it?
Yeah, because it was like a hard plastic cover that would show you the box art, and then you could flip it
it up
around
and then read the back.
read the back.
And see like pictures on it, like
Right,
of the game
right.
if they put them on the back.
Yeah.
Who manufactured those? One. And
I always thought they just cut the shit off of a box, like one box got cut up.
boy, I remember them actually, and maybe I'm misremembering this.
Like as they were hard plastic or something?
But they were printed on the hard plastic.
Huh.
But you're thinking that maybe they just cut the box out.
I
and
think
put
they
it in
cut like a box thing
'Cause
out.
I-
and maybe it was even like the manufacturer, like Nintendo, right? For example, would just send them out with the boxes of new games or something like that.
Well, that's
so that
crazy
they-
because they all did it because they had them for the Genesis, they had them for the
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, the NES.
But they kind of
and-
had the same system at KB Toys, didn't they?
I remember KB Toys. All the shit was behind the counter
That's true. That's true. Yeah, good point. I don't know.
and
Yeah,
were
I don't know.
ridiculously priced. KB Toys were the pricing at KB Toys in the mall was nuts. Like I'd be like,
That toy store, I always have real fond memories of walking into that toy store because it was impossible to find anything. Because they were always in malls.
Yeah.
It was never, I never experienced a KB Toys that was on its own, right?
no, like
It was
a
never in a
standalone. No,
standalone
always
building.
in a mall.
It was always in a mall. So it was really tight and compact in there.
They crammed
And they
so
crammed
much shit.
so much into that place. And it was like, a toy store. Like kids are taking shit off of shelves. They're taking shit out of packages and
just
playing with it
putting
on the
it down.
floor. And KB Toys, man, they had shit everywhere.
everywhere. And at most, they maybe had 4 aisles, 5
Yes,
aisles.
yeah.
And then it was like 2 of those were dedicated
From
to
floor to ceiling.
floor to ceiling, and 2 of the aisles were always dedicated to like obviously like dolls and
Yeah.
baking sets and stuff
Yeah.
like that for the girl toys. And then you had maybe 1 or 2 for because it was always like 1 girl aisle of cool toys, 1 boy aisle of cool toys, 1 with fucking board games and models or whatever. And
Yeah.
so you had like maybe 1 aisle dedicated to your interests, and it was just.
But
they
they'd only
couldn't put
have
it up.
like 5 things.
Yep.
In each category.
Yeah.
Right? So like they'd have 5 different Marvel action figures and 5 Star Wars figurines and then, so on and so forth. And it was very frustrating. It was a very frustrating place to go.
It really was. You
As a child.
you only went because you were at the mall, and
At
that
the
was
mall.
the only toy place to
And
go
you didn't
to.
want to walk through JCPenney with your mom.
No, or they were like, we're gonna go down. Your dad's got to get some dungarees for work. So you're like, okay, well, can we go to KB Toys? I was like, stick with your brother. Come back right after you're done down there.
Yeah.
And you'd spend time in there because what the fuck else are you going to do? I mean, obviously people are screaming right now. There's an arcade there or whatever. Like, yeah, but there's a lot of older kids there and shit. And, whenever I went to the arcade, my mom and dad would like sit out. Like,
Oh, they'd wait for you?
yeah, they'd kind of go, especially when we were younger. They would
Yeah.
go, because it was down by the food court. So they might get themselves an Orange Julius.
Yeah.
Sit out there on and like catch up on the.
That's how it
How
was.
fucked up is that? Like, how miserable would that be to be my dad back then? Like, you didn't have a phone, you couldn't look at anything. You maybe if you brought a book, but my dad's gonna bring a book. No, he just fucking sat out there or walked in and watched us.
People
play.
watch, man.
Yeah.
People watching.
God bless. What a world.
Oh.
But we would always go to KB. Always
Yeah.
kill time there.
Yep.
As we got older, then we'd go to
Kitsap Mall was set up basically the same too. KB Toys was right next to Orange Julius, which was the start of the food court. And then right around the corner
Same with
was
ours,
Silver
yeah.
Coins. And that's where the arcade was.
ours was Casey's.
Yeah.
It was just like around the corner from the food
a lot
court.
of fun memories of spending time in that place.
Yeah. As
lot
I
of-
got older, then I would go to a music land, or I'd go to a Camelot music.
I
Maybe
think we had a, I don't know, I can't remember having a music land in Kitsap Mall. I think there was, though. I take that back. There was a music land there. There was also a Suncoast Video. I
was gonna say, I started going to Suncoast.
Suncoast was the fucking coolest.
It was really
It
cool.
was always set up like a theater.
Yeah.
Like the interior of
Yep.
the theater, so it was a little bit dark in there.
Yeah.
Right? Like the lights were kind of dimmed a little bit. The carpet was like a red or an orange, you know. And
they crammed so many movies in that
so many
place.
movies in there, man. So many movies, and they started selling music at one point too. And they had posters, and oh man, it was the coolest.
It really was.
It was the coolest. But we're here today to actually talk about crazes.
Correct, yeah.
Like toy crazes, because we mentioned already the Stanley Cup craze that's going on right now, which is just, I don't understand it. It's a cup.
I'm sure
it's
someone
a
can
fucking cup, man.
send us an email.
It's an insulated cup.
Send us an email. Tell us about it. I don't have the time to go look this shit up. I don't care to.
Yeah.
I just see like the headline or whatever. I'm like, oh, fuck. What is this now? Who cares? Who gives a shit? Like you're saying, it's a fucking cup.
I think as society, we are now drinking too much water.
Is there such thing? I mean, I know you can die from too much water.
You can literally die from drinking too much water, but this whole craze is centered around you should be drinking more water.
You know, me and JD have talked about this, and I'm not.
But nobody in the first world is dying of thirst.
No one.
Like we're.
I can't believe this, but I've talked about this on the show many times. When I was a kid, I exclusively drank soda.
Yeah.
And everyone would say, you can't just drink soda. You have to have water. Bullshit.
There a ton of water in soda, by the way.
It's like 98%. Like, how much? What is the percentage of water?
99.9% water.
Water.
That's the liquid that you are drinking.
I know. And people would say
flavored with shit.
They're like, you can't drink soda pop because it doesn't quench your thirst. And as a kid, I was like, well, then.
Well, then why? Then why did I live off of Sunkist grape soda?
Yeah. I mean,
from the Indianola store.
I'm not kidding you. I would like if I was out running around, riding my bike everywhere I get home.
Yeah.
I'd crack open a Coke or a Pepsi or a Mountain Dew, and right when I got home, and that would be it. And and then like, oh, that doesn't quench your thirst. I was like, okay, well then I guess I'm perpetually thirsty and I don't know it. I'm 12. I'm not dying here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that shit where it's like. Don't drink any. Now it's like obviously if there's a bunch of sugar in it, we all know how bad sugar is for you and all this shit. But it's like
totally.
But like we drink so much water now. I drink water all the time.
Yeah, and I try to, but my day job is working out of a car basically, and on the days where I'm like drinking, like I'm trying to up my water intake so I don't eat as much or whatever.
No, you got to get one of those big giant ass gallon looking things that have a handle on it.
That was
and
a craze.
Squirt top.
That was a craze as well. Remember the AM/PM big gulp, fucking massive coffee like mugs.
But now guys are doing it with like you'll see dudes that are just like meathead, musclehead dudes, and they'll have this giant clear water bottle that's a gallon of water with a little handle, and like. Okay.
And a squirt top, right?
A squirt top, yeah. It's like, I get it. You need to keep drinking water throughout your day.
You're literally...
Like, you look like a dipshit.
You're peeing every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you're working out in the field...
Oh, my God.
It is fucking impossible. Like, I tried for a little bit to up my water intake. And I was like, this is nonsense. I am like racing to... the park bathrooms that I know are open.
Yeah.
And it was during the winter too. When I first tried this. And I was like, this is nonsense. I can't do this. Because I am like holding myself so I don't piss in my car.
Right.
And racing to a park restroom that may or may not be closed due to the cold weather.
Oh, God.
Right? And like... just hoping for the best.
You need one of those little piss trough deals that have like, have you seen those things that got a handle on them, and you like can top them off and you unscrew it, and you put your dick in there and you piss into it.
I haven't seen one of those.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh my God, it's the worst. Terrible.
Yeah, I can get away with it because I'm working in an office.
Well, sure, you're in an office,
but it's annoying as fuck.
Yeah,
especially if you're stuck on it and you got a 3-hour radio show going and it's live and you're the only one in there running the shit. You got to time it. Like, oh shit! You tell your host, "Hey, if you don't see me in here for a second, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Don't go to a call because I'm not here to fucking bleep it if they say this like say fuck on air." But that's already annoying. You try to like, fuck it. I'm not gonna drink any water until after the show because I don't want to have to piss. But speaking of you, when we do these recordings, when it's the movie nights and we're doing You Blew It, you will either we both piss right before we start.
You've seen me.
And I don't know how many times where we gotta stop down for you to go pee. So I can imagine if you're trying to drink more water driving around, how much you'd have to stop and piss.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Jesus, man.
I must have like a engorged prostate or something like that. Like something's going on. Maybe I should get that checked out. Right?
Brutal. I shouldn't be laughing, dude.
Next episode is gonna be like, well, so we got to get serious for a second.
Yeah, Jesus, don't say that. Oh man. Okay, so other crazes. So that's going on. I don't know.
Well, so this whole Stanley Cup thing just reminded me of like all the times that we've gone through in our lives where these crazes have just like taken over. And people have gone nutso for it, like the Beanie Baby stuff.
I was going to say
there's an excellent documentary out.
I saw
everybody
that.
Should watch.
It talked about an example of the guy that created that crap, making something out of nothing, basically.
Yeah.
And willing that shit to happen.
Right.
Being eccentric and just willing the shit to happen.
The Beanie Baby thing, I mean, was just absolute insanity.
Yeah.
And people were like collecting this stuff as an investment.
Wild.
Yeah.
But it was the same with the baseball card bullshit.
Baseball
in the
cards
late
and comic
80s
books.
And
The comic books in the 90s, I remember going through this because I was also on that train. Of course, I wasn't old enough to see how fucking ridiculous it was. And by the way, just took all those comic books up to sell them off.
I forgot to ask you about this. How'd that go?
Not great.
Yeah.
Dude at the comic book store said, I'll give you, I think he said $250 for everything.
Well, that's not bad.
I said, well, that's pretty good. And he's like, there's one problem. I don't have $250. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, but you should try taking them up to Half Price Books or something like that. Or you can take them down to that other comic book store.
Wait a minute.
I know.
Wait a minute.
I know. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So you go in, you say, I've got a collection. I'd like to sell it.
Yeah.
Guys, like, bring them in. Let me look at it.
Yeah. He gave me a date to bring them in by. And so I took him in at that date, and he was definitely in a mood when I brought. Like, he was super nice when I first went in, and then I came in on the day or day after. He gave me the this is when we'll have some cash flow, and we might be able to buy a collection and stuff. I was like, so brought him in and stuff, and he went through them. He made a comment about my collection and like the fact that I had Transformers and G.I. Joe and a bunch of like old What If comics.
Oh yeah, I know the What If.
Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel What Ifs.
And he's like, you've got a really weird collection here, man. And I was like, well, half of them I traded for baseball cards back in the early 90s.
I love this. He
got all.
Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't curating them at 12.
Yeah, exactly.
At 12
exactly.
or whatever.
And some of them I hadn't really taken care of that much and stuff like that. And so he had some comments about that.
Can we say where this place is? Why aren't we just saying where it is? What it is?
I guess.
It's fucking Arcane Comics. There's not
yeah.
many comic places in Seattle, especially North
Arcane
Seattle.
Comics in...
used to be in Ballard.
I think that's considered Shoreline.
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, he was kind of in a mood. I still like the guy, but yeah, he I had some pretty legit comic books in there, and he was like, these four right here are the ones that I'm really paying for,
right?
Or that anybody would be paying for if they bought your collection. He said, it'd probably be worth around $250, but I don't have it. I don't have the money right now, man. And so I was like, okay. Which is fine. But I got somebody who was in the know to tell me what I should be looking at, right?
Sure.
Price wise. So anyway, I took it up to Half Price Books.
Strand? Oh,
No.
dude. You went to Half Price?
Went to Half Price.
Oh, you got $30.
Yep.
for your entire collection.
35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know what's funny about half-price books? No matter what you take in there, it's $30.
It's 30.
I've taken in 2 boxes full of brand new books because I used to get them all the time at the radio station. We'd get books sent to us all the time. We had a building that had 3 radio stations, 4 TV stations, and we would just have piles of books. They'd put them on a table, and they'd just be like, if anyone wants to take them or read them or do whatever you want with them, here's the book table. And I would sit and I would wait and say like, okay. And I'd see the same 10 books sitting there for like months and months and months. And finally I'd be like, fuck it. I'm going to take these in. Everyone got a chance at them. No one wants them. I'm going to take them in. Or you're just, people move on, quit. You clean out their office. They've got just stacks of books. So I would take them and no matter what, if I took 2 full boxes full of books, they're like, no, I'll give you $30 for them.
Yeah.
Then sometimes I'd go like, well, shit, it took
them 2.5, 3 hours to go through them too. And it was just like, it was like, I felt a little defeated, but at the same time I was like, where the hell else am I going to take these?
Right.
Like, seriously, like, am I going to go online and try to sell each and every one of these things on eBay? No. I'm not going to do that. Like,
this is the dilemma we're in with this shit. This is the dilemma we're in.
And I held on to them for so long.
Toys.
So long.
Video games.
Yeah.
Laser discs. Fucking movies of any sort.
Yeah.
CDs.
Yeah.
Records. Whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You think one day... Back in the day, it used to be you'd walk into the comic book shop and go like, I've got this mint, whatever, like Punisher #1. The guy'd be like, oh shit, I'll give you X amount of money for it. And this is just funny because when you told me you're going to do this, I was like, fuck, I've always thought about doing that, but I'm almost too embarrassed to.
Yeah.
I don't want them to look through it and judge me like they did for you.
Yeah.
And then I also realized they're going to end up going, I'll take these 2 books, but I don't want the rest. And the whole point is I want to go there and unload.
I want to unload all of this stuff.
Heavy,
I don't want to just throw it in the trash.
Right.
Like, that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
It's like you just, like, and it's not even just like, oh, I want somebody else to enjoy these things. It's not that at all. It's, I don't want to just fill the fucking landfill
with
this. Like, somebody might want some of this stuff. Who knows?
But now it's like you're saying, you can go online and you can get any of this shit. If there was an issue of Star Wars from the 1980s that I want, I can go on eBay, I can find it and go and buy it because there's someone up there whose, business or part of his life is selling this shit and moving this shit. But I'm not going to do it and you're not going to do it. Could you imagine trying to be like, okay, I've got 2 long boxes full of my fucking comics and I'm going to put them up on eBay. I'm going to wait around for them to sell.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to
individually package
them and ship them.
Like 5 of these things that some dude wants in Minnesota and then ship them out there. No, I'm not going to deal with that. So I took the $35 or whatever it was. Actually, it might have been 60. It might have been 60.
Wow. That blows my mind if it's 60. Yeah. Because telling you, I've never had over like 35.
Yeah, I had like He-Man, Masters of the Universe #1. I had Punisher #1. I had the Wolverine #1. And then I had a bunch of like, this was the craze that happened in the 90s was that Image Comics.
Oh yeah.
Started like really pumping out like new characters and stuff.
Yeah,
like
a bunch of artists left Marvel and the bigger, like Marvel and DC and said, we're going to do our own thing.
Yep.
We're tired of getting screwed over by the publishers. We're going to publish our own shit.
Yeah.
And
that's
they had
where
like
Spawn, I think Spawn was on Image.
Really cool foil covers and the paper
hard
they
card
used.
covers and stuff like that.
The paper they used was,
And,
like, this is
and I had all these #1 comic books. And I remember just like my group of friends at that time, it was probably like 91, 92 maybe. Everybody was going gaga for comic books. There was a new comic book store in Paulsbo that had opened up. We were all going there on weekends, and just like trying to get the first issue of all these stupid books that were terrible. Like
terrible.
Yeah. I had a #1 issue of Shaman's Tears.
I don't know what the fuck that is. Was that an Image comic?
Yeah. For good reason you don't know what it is.
Well, that was the whole thing.
Shaman's
Was like
tears.
you'd hope you'd get lucky with your
Right.
number one.
Right.
That was the other thing that I had
12-year-old Roden was like, this is an investment.
Yeah, this is a fucking investment. It was the same deal with like the other thing I didn't quite understand at that time was oftentimes the publishers would reset, you know, and they're like, okay, we're going to start, Spider-Man's going to start his own different book.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's going to be Spectacular Spider-Man instead of Amazing Spider-Man, or we're going to end the current run of Amazing Spider-Man and restart it with number one. And I would think, oh man, I'm going to get that number one. It's going to be someone's like, no, you fucking dummy. They
made 8 million of those.
They made 8 million of those, and they're just restarting up like volume 2, but this continuing on.
Yeah.
It's not a true number one. It's not like, what is the first one? Like fantasy, whatever, Tales of Fantasy that had Spider-Man just so happened to be in it, or Detective Comics that just so happened to have Batman.
Right.
But now you're trying to be like, oh, I'm going to get number one of this thing. Like the Wolverine. I've got that Wolverine number one.
Yeah.
The one from like, we looked it up. It was like 1990 or 1988 or
Yeah, it was the one where he was like in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, feudal Japan.
On the cover, he's not wearing his mask. He's got his wild hair and his teeth. Yeah, and he's in all black. Yeah, I had that thing. So was that one of the ones that
was the one that I had, and that was one of them that collected a bunch of like the most of the money.
Huh?
Was that one?
Yeah.
That one alone, I think, if you were to sell it yourself, would be like $60.
Right.
Or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got boned.
Yeah.
Just got completely boned, dude, on my comics, brah.
The first craze that I remember is actually Cabbage Patch dolls.
I remember that as well. They were absolutely impossible to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
In Winlock, Washington, we had a raffle at Cedar Village, which was the grocery store, and my mom won the raffle, and she won a Cabbage Patch doll when no one could get them.
Did you get one?
No, my mom put in for the raffle and won it.
Yeah. So did she give it to you?
No, it was like, well, I don't know. It was like our household had a Cabbage Patch doll.
Yeah.
And she kept it in the box.
Oh, really?
Yeah. His name was Dudley. She kept it in the box because she's like,
what color hair?
He had like sandy blonde, kind of like tan sandy.
I just remember
blonde.
the smell of those fucking dolls was incredible.
Like vinyl face on them.
It was a weird, because it was like a really thick vinyl head, right? And then it was all really well stitched, like body and legs and arms and stuff.
Yeah, and then they had little outfits on. Like Dudley had like an Oshkosh kind of looking, overalls and shit.
So I think my brother got one when he was really little.
From first of all,
you're always taking the clothes off the doll.
Well, household of...
Is that what you're...
No, I was going to say household of 3 boys. So none of us really wanted a Cabbage Patch doll, right?
Uh-huh.
We just knew that this was a thing that people... It was all over the news. You couldn't get them. They're sold out everywhere. If you get them, you can resell them for this, that, whatever. So when my mom got it, it was like, oh, we're going to resell this. We're going to make a bunch of money off of it. And my mom was like, no, we'll hold on to it because it's going to be worth... Same sort of bullshit. You remember what the trick was, too? You had to lift up one of the legs and look like right kind of lower by the ash cheek. It's like one of the, and it was signed.
It was signed by Xavier Roberts.
Yeah, that's right. Xavier Roberts. Yeah.
On its butt.
On its
tattooed
butt.
with Xavier Roberts' signature on his butt cheek.
Some other kook about like the guy that did the fucking Beanie Babies. Some other nutbag out there who made a craze, making us think like this is something that's unique.
Right.
You remember these? What were these? American dolls or whatever? Like,
dude, my kids were kind of obsessed with those, but not that much though. They weren't as obsessed with that kind of stuff. They weren't even as obsessed with Barbie dolls. But now that they're getting older, they're obsessed with these stupid Stanley cups and like the Starbucks cups and that kind of stuff, like these weird status symbols.
Do you remember Glassy Babies? That was the thing that was going on for a while. Glassy Babies.
Glassy Babies?
Remember like these little, I don't know what they were.
The figurines?
No. They weren't even babies. They were like blown glass. I think you could put like a candle in them or something.
No.
You remember these? It was always like, hey, Don lost his grandmother. This is like at work.
Oh.
I'm collecting money. We're gonna get him a beanie baby.
You mean
we're gonna
like
we're gonna give him a glassy baby.
The porcelain little figurines.
No, it's not a fucking figurine. I don't even know. Explain what it is. I don't know why they're called glass. Look it up.
Are
I don't
they in
even
the
know.
shape of like a angel
like a
or something
teardrop
like
or
that?
something? I don't know. Like
Oh.
maybe I'm getting it wrong. Maybe it wasn't glassy baby, but
I don't know. I know that my grandmother was really obsessed with these weird porcelain little figurines. And they all had like their heads were all like bigger than their bodies, like it was disproportioned a little bit, almost almost kind of an anime kind of style. But like a lot of them were, I think, from the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. And she had a few of those figurines around her house, and those were big with like the older population. At the time, I think.
No. Yeah, these are Glassy Baby. Here's like Wikipedia. Is a company based in Seattle, Washington. That's probably why. That produces handmade glass votive candle holders. Votives?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I've never heard that. Called Glassy Baby.
I think that's
which
how
are
you
sold
pronounce it.
online and in stores in Seattle. Okay, and Oregon. So, but this maybe it wasn't that big of a craze, but I swear, like at work, it was like I'm gonna be getting a Glassy Baby for fucking Bob. He lost his grandma. I was like, okay, if I got that, I'd be obligated to be like, oh my God, thank you so much. Fucking glass candle thing, I guess. I mean, I don't know, like, yeah, what else? You were bringing up.
Well, I did.
You were bringing up Mad Balls.
Mad Balls. I seem to remember. I seem to remember Mad Balls had kind of a craze as well. But I don't know if that was. I don't know if that was just kind of relegated to the place where I was growing up too.
No, I mean I remember Mad Balls. I remember like they were a flash in the pan. But I also remember. Here's
or Guts. Do you remember the Guts figurines?
I was going to say
flesh-colored little weird muscle men.
No, wasn't it Muscle?
No. Oh, maybe it was Muscle.
Muscle wrestlers, little pink guys that were like like they're tiny.
I don't have my phone back here. Look up Guts and Muscle.
I remember Guts, but
wasn't Guts the same thing?
I don't think so. It was similar,
or they were different. I don't remember.
Toys. Let's see. Guts. Oh yeah.
Guts had like monsters and like weird creatures and stuff like that, and was Muscle just like?
I love that this comes up. Adult toys for men.
What?
Male sex toys. That's what came. That's what happened when I put in Guts. Fuck is Guts then? Guts. I'll put retro toys. Oh no! It auto-corrected to guys' toys. Jesus Christ. Guts.
What you been looking at over there?
Fucking A, dude.
Thunder.
Just trying to get myself. Oh yeah, I remember these.
Yeah. Are they the flesh-colored little?
No. These were different.
Oh.
Yeah. Look at these guys. Here you go. They're like.
Oh.
These were Guts laser fighters. I remember these, dude.
Here.
They're not what you're thinking. You're thinking about Muscle.
I must be thinking of Muscle. Oh, yeah. Guts was the... Gotcha.
They had, like, more detail to them.
Yeah, and they were like soldiers or something.
Yeah.
Weird.
And I remember Beecham had... Beecham had those laser guts.
Sergeant Scorpion, Slinger, Zap.
You're thinking about Muscle.
Lord. I'm thinking about Muscle.
Or whatever it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was an acronym.
Or was
for something.
it Muscles? Because it was like...
They were like monster wrestlers, but there were... there were all sorts of... like over-the-top kind of wrestlers.
Yeah, here they are. Yeah.
Those were big.
Because it was a weird... It was M.U.
Yeah. It was an acronym.
Yeah.
It stood for something. I don't know, but it's like...
Yeah. That's so funny.
But the...
Yeah, Muscle.
Here was the problem with a lot of this shit for me is I would always be getting the lower rent version of it. So Mad Balls.
Yeah.
I'd go to the store, and this is classic me. I'd go to the store and I was like, okay, I'm going to get a Mad Ball.
You'd get the Taiwanese made branded one that was from Yardbirds.
Yeah, I distinctly remember going to get a Mad Ball. And for those of you that don't know, a Mad Ball was a ball about a little bit bigger than a baseball.
Yeah.
And it was made out of like foam, like a high dense sort of, what was it? It was...
I think the ones that I had were actually like a silicone rubber.
Okay, silicone rubber, yeah. And they were highly detailed and painted.
Yes, and painted.
And they were always kind of like gross, monstery looking,
right,
or, whatever. But I remember going to get a Mad Ball and then seeing, the crazy ball next to it. That was like, or, whatever rip-off version. I was like, this looks cooler than that. And this is half the price. So I had this.
So you were making the decision?
Yeah, I remember I had this pink, not Mad Ball, but wannabe Mad Ball. And I thought it looked fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
And everybody had to point out that that's not a Mad Ball. And be like, yeah, but this is way cooler than that lame ass one that you have that looks like Count Dracula.
And it's softball size.
Yeah. No, it was the same size. It was way cooler looking, I'm telling you. But it was not branded Mad Ball. And I would do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was big into G.I. Joe, like the little 3 3/4 one, not the big doll one. My brother had old Evil Eye
I would have killed for those big doll ones.
The big ones, yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
They had like actual hair on them, like little fuzzy, like 5 o'clock shadows and shit.
They had whole like suits you could put on them and shit.
But I had the, like the 1980s 3 3/4 ones. Me and Blaine Beecham into G.I. Joes for a minute.
Yeah.
What would happen sometimes?
You get the off-brand.
You go to Kmart and they would have a sleeve of 10 of these wannabe G.I. Joe guys.
Yeah.
10 of them.
Yeah.
And they were still really cool looking. They had a Ninja Fighter one. They had like...
Did they have all the joints?
Oh, yeah.
Could you still bend them at the knee?
Yes. All the points of articulation, of course. Yeah. And, but the paint was a little off,
Yeah.
Sometimes they weren't as highly detailed.
One of them's missing a nose.
No, nothing like that. Nothing egregious like that. Just very plain looking.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'd find some that are really cool, and I would get those, and I'd mix them in with my G.I. Joes, and boy, I would get what for from maybe Jimmy Hine.
Rightly so.
Jimmy Hine might make fun of me.
Rightly so, by the way.
His dad was the principal. He had more money. Okay. I mean, I had plenty of G.I. Joes, but maybe I want to put the core in there.
Back in the day when like the principal was the rich guy in town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember Mad Balls having quite the craze.
Yeah, they had some
over in
juice for a minute.
Kitsap.
Yeah, they had juice over in Lake Stevens too. Yeah.
A lot of kids had those guys. What else? What other crazes can you remember?
Well, it's funny. I was going to bring up muscle, and you took that one from me. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Obviously, when I was a kid, we don't need to talk about Star Wars, but for me, fucking Micro Machines.
Micro Machines. Holy crap!
There's another one where
and that one stayed around for quite some time too. Yeah.
Gotta admit, they were pretty cool, man.
They were amazing.
They had,
especially when they started making the sets too.
Yeah.
But I don't remember them ever being like to the level where like people were fighting over them in a store, or they were or they were or the company was like like not sending enough to stores to like create.
We can't keep make enough to keep on the shelves. Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Yeah,
I just remember them being a big thing.
Oh my God, they were so cool though.
We had this guy, this kid Jason, this like in 6th grade. He was a larger kid, and I don't just mean like tall and wide, but like just bigger than all the kids. And what's funny is he just had Micro Machines coming out his fucking pockets everywhere. It's like, go over to Jason, dude. He just got a new Micro Machine. He had so many fucking Micro Machines. He was this giant 12-year-old with Micro Machines, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. He had like little helicopter ones.
Oh yeah, the helicopters.
He would
the
set them up on
coolest.
his desk, and when he would do the helicopter, we'd always remember this. He would go, Juve, 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 Juve. forget his last
Every
name. Jason,
kid had their own sounds.
Yeah,
for each one for guns and for vehicles.
Yeah,
yeah,
totally. Yeah, Micro Machines. He loved that shit.
My favorites were when Micro Machines first came out. A lot of them had like doors that would open.
Yeah,
and stuff, and then I think they stopped doing that after a little while because they were probably too expensive to make. But I do remember, like, you could flip on some of them. You could flip up their hoods and open the doors on them. Like I had a Lamborghini that the doors would open on it.
Oh, like the what do they call that? The way the Lamborghinis are, it was like.
I don't think they actually
scissor doors or whatever
they did. Yeah, the Lamborghini one did flip up. Yeah.
Were they also? They were kind of shortened and stubby looking, right?
Yes.
They were kind of
they were all kind of scrunched up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the infamous commercial with the guy who talked.
Oh, the
really
guy
fast.
that could talk really fast. Yeah. What was his name?
I don't remember.
Wasn't he also? Was he related to? I always got him and the announcer for WWF mixed up.
Oh, Mean Gene Okerlund?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
They looked very similar.
And Mean Gene, he could talk pretty fast too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting, of course, in true Thunder fashion, getting like tiny tires or whatever. It was like it was a different version of Micro Machines. Yeah.
Tiny tires.
Again, and I'll sit here and tell you that I think the paint job was much better on the tiny tires.
Oh God! But it gave you cancer.
Yeah, who knew? Yeah, right. It's all lead. Yeah, leave it to me to get some bullshit.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Is that it? What else did we have back then? There's people again yelling right now.
Oh yeah, that we're forgetting.
You fucking idiots! This.
Yes.
We don't need to get into baseball cards but I did have. There was a phase, man. Yeah. And I'll probably put at the beginning of this episode. Old Don West, R.I.P.
Oh yeah,
hawking his game.
You have to
his cards. And he used to hawk Beanie Babies too, and that I always found funny when two grown men are going nuts over Beanie Babies.
Right, and just like really diving deep.
Oh God,
on like the color and the stitching
and the stupid
eyes.
Names that they had too.
Oh my God, man! And those, the Beanie Baby thing lasted a long time. It feels like too.
Yeah,
because they're still making those.
They're
still making them.
I know. The weird.
They're not as popular.
They're not as popular, and I don't know which documentary did you watch? It was like on Netflix or something like that.
Yeah, maybe it was a Netflix one. I think there was one on HBO.
Okay, maybe. Pretty sad, man. It was pretty sad to watch some of these older women that just have like, these giant Tupperware storage bins of all these,
filling their whole apartment with
just
them.
Like someday these are going to be worth something. You just look around and go like, look at how many you have in your apartment.
Yeah.
And you think that these are scarce?
Spending tens of thousands of dollars on these things.
Yeah.
Just incredible. Absolutely.
And talking like you said, they're an investment. They're like,
right.
What in 10 years, these are going to send my kids to college. I'm going to use these to send them to college.
Yeah. But with that too, it's like those people are probably had hoarding tendencies already.
Right.
Because I think there's a point in that documentary, which is super sad too, where like the child of one of those people is trying to get her to sell them off.
Yeah.
And like he's putting them online and she's like, oh, not that one.
Not that one. Yeah.
Not that one. It's like, let's just get rid of it, lady.
Yeah.
Come on. That is a disorder I will never understand.
Oh, I got a little hoarder tendency in me, I think.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a little bit, yeah.
But do you look at something and you say, I can't get rid of that? Because I can look at fucking anything, with the exception of my guitars, and say I can get rid of that. I can throw that away.
I've got some stuff. I again, I go back to TurboGrafx.
Yeah. You do have a lot of collections.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you are a collector.
Yeah. I mean, but I've tapered off, and but I can't. I guess what I'm saying is I can understand hoarder tendencies more than the average person.
Yeah. I can't grasp it.
Yeah.
My mind can't grasp it because I am constantly getting rid of stuff.
Well, motherfucker, I know because you got rid of some of my movies
On accident?
I know, but God damn it,
It was an accident.
I know. Yeah.
I apologize.
No, I'm bad at. What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Are you going to pee?
No.
I thought you were getting up and going to pee.
No. Getting ready for the next segment.
Yeah. There's stuff that if I got rid of, I think of like, if I ever wanted to obtain them again, it would be hard. So I don't want to get rid of them. You know? But I mean, you see my place. It's not like it's like
no, it's
like
not
there's any-
overflowing
yeah,
with stuff. I mean, you got to walk around some boxes. And stuff.
there's dead cats everywhere.
There's like flat cats all over the place.
You have your bedding.
It smells like
you sleep in your downstairs bathroom.
Yeah, it smells like dog shit and piss.
Yeah.
But
No.
I mean, it's for the most part, it's organized.
Yeah. Shit. Oh, fuck, man. The other one to watch is go and watch. There's one on Netflix where a kid goes back to his mom's house and is trying to sell off his baseball card collection. And this is a guy that like went off to college and always said, one day I'll go back and just, sell all my cards. But he hadn't been in that world since when he lived with his mom. So he finally has the time. I don't know if it was during the pandemic or whatever. He goes back to his mom's house and starts going through his baseball cards and goes to some like baseball card shows, and the contrast from when he would go when he was a kid, because I think his dad owned like a card shop wherever he grew up.
Okay.
So they were heavily into it. They'd go to all the shows, sell cards there, set up, their tables and shit. So he goes back, 15, 20 years later, and the sad comparison of what they're like now.
Right.
And he can get like nothing for all this shit that he got. Ugh. Because all those major manufacturers back in the day were lying about the amount of product that they were making.
Oh, of course. Of course they were. Yeah.
So
false scarcity, right?
ridiculous.
That's how you drum up knuckleheads like us to go buy your wares. Yeah, indeed.
Dude, get you a good deal on a glassy, baby, man. Got a bunch of them. All right. We got some emails.
We've got a few emails to get to here.
Yeah.
We've really been slacking on this.
Yeah. Well, it's been slacking on doing a show. So
Well,
it's hard to talk about emails when you're...
I mean, come on.
Okay, what do we got here? You're in control of the screen here, so...
Yeah, so this one, let's see, what's the... we've got one from listener Keith concerning the Abyss 4K release. Listener Keith from Falcon, Colorado. Falcon, Colorado, where is that?
I don't know.
Keith says, hey guys, you mentioned the Abyss 4K release in the latest episode. I think this was SOD with
me and
JD.
JD were talking about how the Abyss and True Lies were coming out on 4K.
Oh, True Lies too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
both of the
Well, Keith sent this back on
Jimmy Cameron shit.
December 13th. And he says, so I want to mention that I had the pleasure of seeing it on the big screen for the one night December 6th showing. It was pretty awesome, but right at the end, there was some visual effects that got done dirty by 4K. The wide shot of the ships and oil rig sitting on the risen alien city / ship thing was an absolute mess, and the matte paintings of the ships in the background were so clear that they looked like bad paintings in the lobby of a cheap motel. Other than that, I would say this movie holds up pretty well. I mentioned this to you before. I had seen the Blu-ray version
Yeah.
of The Abyss. And again, the CGI stuff, the CGI work in that movie holds up really well. And, but yeah, I can imagine that last scene of them like walking on that thing too, it's like, it's too clear. You've got to leave some grain in there for some things.
I've never seen The Abyss.
You've never seen The Abyss?
I've seen.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I bet you I've seen probably altogether the entire movie just from bits and pieces on TV.
Yeah.
JD's a big fan. He had like the special edition
movie,
lasers.
man.
I wasn't the biggest James Cameron guy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Wasn't an Abyss guy. Wasn't an Aliens guy.
You were a Terminator guy.
I was a Terminator and Terminator 2 guy.
Yeah.
But still not huge. But I remember just everyone talking about the effects, obviously, and in The Abyss. But the problem, like we were talking about when me and JD were talking about this, is like I started seeing some stuff on social media about how fucked with these releases are. And I don't want to get in the weeds on the stuff, but there's a lot of stuff you can do now when you release these movies. Get rid of film grain, make the colors pop. This is the shit that like we were talking earlier before we started recording.
Yeah, this is what
George Lucas monkeys
did
with his stuff.
Yep.
The stuff I was seeing is that James Cameron has never really liked film grain, and that he is doing some digital trickery with this stuff before putting it out on 4K. And so
that is a surefire way to make stuff look like garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're literally taking out like if you're digitally taking out things like small microscopic things that make up a picture
that are naturally
occurring and naturally there.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's gonna really mess with what you're seeing on the screen.
So a lot of the shitty movies that we watch on Blu-ray, like you remember Nemesis for instance.
Oh, sure.
A German company was the first to, and I don't know how they got their hands on a 35 millimeter print. They were the first to put, remember I think the first time we watched it was on like a German version of the Blu-ray that we had to order because it wasn't out in the States. But this company that puts them out, this is the whole thing that people got pissed off about. This company that was putting these B movies out on Blu-ray back in the day was because this guy was doing DNRing and he's scrubbing all this shit, and people were pissed off. Now you've got someone like James Cameron, who it's his movie. I can understand if you're getting pissed off at somebody who's like this guy who's, hey, I've got money, I'm going to put out this B movie, but I'm going to put it out my way. I can see why people would really get pissed off about, like, don't tinker with something that's not yours, dude.
Yeah.
But this is James Cameron, and it's like, what are you going to tell him not to?
I mean, he can do whatever he wants with it.
I haven't seen it, but here's the other thing. People said the same thing about that 3D version of Predator when we got it. There was like, oh, that thing's been smooth, DNR smoothing, and it looks like shit and all this stuff.
I thought it looked great.
I thought it looked great.
I thought it looked fucking good.
I don't know. Maybe I'm oblivious to it, but
I don't know.
That's cool.
I'd still like to check it out. I don't have a 4K player or a 4K TV.
Yeah,
but be into checking it out at your house.
But that's the thing about those old matte paintings, though, man. The clearer,
even in Blu-ray too. I mean, the clearer you make that picture, the more noticeable those paintings are in the background.
Yeah,
that's for damn sure. But thank you so much, Keith, listener Keith, for sending that in. That's super cool. I gotta see that movie again now too. This one is from listener Brendan. This is a good one. We gotta read this whole thing.
Okay.
So we just hit on this in a You Blew It episode. We just mentioned trying to do the heat lamp tour.
Yeah, we've had
we've been talking about this for years.
And if listener
and I'm scared to do it, but this one,
if DJ's listening, listener DJ is always one that's like, come down my way. I'll take you to all the heat lamp places. We've been planning to do this for probably a decade now. Where we're going to get in our cars and we're going to hit up all of these gas station heat lamps. And again, we're not talking about AM, PM, or 7-Eleven.
Right.
We're talking about greasy, like chicken gizzards, Crispitos and this stuff on like legit gas station food.
Right. Yeah.
Still haven't done it.
So this one was sent back in on December 27th. This is from listener Brendan. He starts out, SOD. Out of desperation, I took a job delivering mail during the pandemic. I basically lived off of heat lamp trash for about a year of my life. Seriously, 90% of my caloric intake was from gas stations during that time. I was working out of the Snohomish post office, so I'm going to give my rundown of the better grab-and-go garbage in that area so you don't have to.
It's like you blew it.
Yeah. Okay, number 1, Tom Thumb. You've talked about this place.
I mean, my childhood, from the 4th grade up until adulthood,
Yes.
Tom Thumb was right down the road.
Brendan writes, not in the Snohomish zip codes, but I'll include it because sometimes I would cut through Lake Stevens on my way out to Lake Bosworth.
Sure.
And I'm sure you are intimately familiar with it. Pretty good selection, but most of it is just the nonsense you can get in the freezer section at the grocery store. I'll grab a pizza stick if I'm driving by. 6 out of 10. Okay, solid.
So I can tell you this. The last time I was in Tom Thumb, it's been way rearranged from when I was a kid.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
They've expanded the heat lamp area out. But I do agree with him in that when I'm going into one of those places, I'm looking for unique stuff.
Yes.
I don't want you to take a
Hot Pocket.
A Hot Pocket. And but they used to have those pizza pockets, the ones that are, I guess, called Boscos as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And Newman, we used to roll in there at midnight when they're cleaning out the heat lamps, and they would wheel and deal and give you, and Newman would go and
because they were dry.
They were dry out garbage, and Newman would I got some pizza pockets for half
Boscos.
the price, some
Oh my
Boscos for
God.
half the price.
Yeah.
So
nasty.
Yeah, gross.
Nasty when
Okay.
they're all dried out. Let's see. The 76 station off of OK Mill Road in Machias. We both know this place.
absolutely on the way out to your cabin,
On the way out to Lake Bosworth, my grandparents' cabin out
and
there.
my brother lives out there.
Yeah. Yep. And I've bought food at this place on many occasions as well, because every time I'm leaving Lake Bosworth, I am very hungover.
That place used to also be a Skipper's Grab and Go.
Yes.
In the inside, no
Indeed.
longer. And my problem,
Because the Skipper's Grab and Go then moved over to the IGA
in
in
Granite
the
Falls.
grocery store in Granite Falls, and then it went under there too.
I never have really gotten anything at this place he's talking about, because every time I go in, it's kind of shut down. Like I always get in there too late.
yeah.
And they've already like shut all
Because
the
it sells
heat.
out, man.
Fuck.
This place is dirty, and I can attest. to
It
that.
is. It is.
I can
Yeah.
back that up. But their food is made in house. It is worth the risk of getting sick.
I'm telling you, I want to try it so bad, but it's always been closed down. When we're going there.
The best item is their chicken strips.
Oh man.
That they hand bread there, so they sort of have that shell of breading that can get a little slimy and break off if you're you're peeling a shrimp. They've been sitting under the lamp for a while. If you get them fresh, they're wonderful. 8 out of 10. All right, the next up, Chevron on Highway 9 in Clearview.
Oh sure, I know this one too.
Yeah, I know this place too. Actually, I think you've actually taken me to this place.
Probably.
Yeah, when we were going to, we were coming back from Chelan, and we were dropping off Dykstra.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Let's see. They franchise a crispy, crunchy chicken location and have a Jet City pizza attached to the gas station.
Oh, I didn't know that now.
Yeah. Their fried chicken and especially their chicken strips are out of this world.
Whoa.
If you're ever headed up Highway 9, you have to try this. Magic in your mouth. You can also get a slice of pizza, which is a hit and miss with how fresh it will be. Every time I went to get some chicken, it was fresh. Their JoJo's are pretty good too. 10 out of 10. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So what was the name of the chicken again?
Crispy, crunchy chicken.
Have you seen, there's a bunch of these like branded chicken that some of these places will have. If you head down south, like if you're going to Portland, you'll see a lot of places have like Chester's chicken.
Yeah, Chester's, which is a franchise. Like, I think Chester's is like Midwest or something.
But it'll be in a gas station. It'll say like, now serving Chester's chicken or whatever this thing is called.
Because I think Chester's is a fast food joint.
Right. Huh.
A fried chicken fast food joint, I think.
Huh. Dude, I'll tell you what. You get a fucking good JoJo, and I've gotten in.
They're hard to find.
They're
man.
really hard to find now.
Really
hard to find now.
Yeah.
But man, if you can get good ones, oh fuck, they're
It's
good.
got to be salty as hell.
Yeah,
like you have to salt. Like a good JoJo has to be salty as hell. The problem with JoJos now is that they're not salted enough.
No,
and you get this massive wedge of potato.
Yes,
and you bite into it, and the outside tastes kind of okay, and then you get into the inside, and it's a dry fucking potato.
Right.
Nobody wants that shit.
I don't understand how people fuck this stuff up. The whole thing about a JoJo was that they seasoned the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Because you'd get such a thick cut of potato that and if it's done right, it's kind of like almost like a pocket of mashed potatoes. Not mashed potatoes, but like to that point where it's baked potato. Yeah. And you'd have to have enough seasoning on the outside so when you get that bite, it would mix together and you'd have they used to be so good when I was a kid.
It's really hard to find.
Terrible. You can't find any good ones.
Done well. Anymore. Yeah, totally. Shell Station in Maltby across SR 522. This place caters the early morning construction crowd. They serve typical frozen snack foods like chicken wings, pizza sticks, and corn dogs. The one thing they excel at is reheating a DiGiorno pizza.
Whoa.
If you want a properly cooked DiGiorno, this is your place. 5 out of 10.
No shit.
Okay. And the last one here, 76 Station off of Fales Road. Fales or Fallas Road?
Don't know.
I think it's Fales Road. Off of SR 522. This place is clean, and he puts that in all caps.
Huh.
And also caters to the morning construction folks, but does it much better. If you get there early enough, they have enchiladas made fresh in-house. Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
For lunch, they sometimes have hot Italian sandwiches.
Whoa, grinder.
That sounds really good, too. That will make a mess out of anything that you are wearing, no matter how careful you are eating it.
Brutal.
I know those sandwiches, yeah.
Brutal.
Their cheesesteak isn't the best, but I'll eat that. Shit. Avoid the cheeseburger. It tastes exactly like the ones they served when I was in the military. I think I know what he's talking about there. I was never in the military, but I know that cheeseburger.
I think I know too.
I know that cheeseburger. Yeah.
Probably an awful lot like an AM PM cheeseburger.
Yes, that's it. That's what I'm referring to. Kind of tastes like dog food. Yeah. How dog food smells. Yeah. Yes. Or maybe they taste like a school cafeteria burger. That too. That's perfect. Yep. That's perfect. Either way, the burger should only be eaten if you're really hungry. If you need to use the restroom, go here. Their restroom is always spotless. 9 out of 10.
Huh. God bless.
Oh, man.
Well, you know what my go-to in all of these places...
Brendan signs off. All right, Dan. Bye.
Dan. You know my go-to of all these places are the chicken Crispitos. Every fucking time.
Yep. Chicken Crispito. They call them chicken flauta.
Yeah, sometimes flautas.
In Safeway.
Hey, let me riddle me this one.
Yeah.
So, I have a Safeway that's close by my house.
Sure.
And then if you go north, there's when you get into Shoreline off on the same road, 15th, there's a Safeway with a gas station.
Yes.
I go to both because if I'm getting gas, I want to use my card, my discount or whatever.
Sure.
So go up there. Both of the delis have on the menu chicken flauta
but it's never there.
And chicken Crispito.
Oh. They have them both listed?
They have them both listed. Chicken and cheese Crispito and a chicken flauta. Now, the one by my house always has chicken flautas.
Okay.
Which is, again, like people are like you're splitting hairs here, asshole.
Yeah.
I'm not, because it's almost like a green chicken chili in the inside. It's like a green, I can't explain it. It's just like, it's green chicken chili in there.
Yeah,
it's like
but it's like mixed with like, I I want to say it's mixed with maybe cheese and cream cheese, like Monterey Jack and cream cheese.
Different one. That's the Crispito.
Oh, I thought that was the flauta.
The flauta has like, it's like, I can't explain. It's like a green
flour
sauce.
tortilla.
Flour tortilla. It looks like
deep fried around.
Yeah. But in the inside, it's like not shredded chicken, not chunked up chicken, but just like chicken in like a green chili sauce. That's usually what every Safeway has. But they will always...
I haven't had one for a very long time.
Here's my problem with this shit.
Yeah.
Is they treat it like they're both the same thing.
Yeah.
So they only have one or the other. And most of the time, it's just the flauta.
Yeah.
But if I go to the one up on 15th...
They have the Crispito.
They have the chicken Crispito.
So the Crispito one is the one with like all the melted cheese in it.
All the melted cheese in it, which often turns into, is there ever fucking chicken in this? Because it mostly feels like a bunch of cheese in there, which I'm fine with. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And they're kind of flatter. They kind of get more like, when they cook them, they kind of like settle till they're kind of flat almost.
See, I don't know if I've had one of those. I've only had the flauta, because the flauta is the one. It's like, it's almost, it's not perfectly round, but
it's pretty close, yeah.
But the flour tortilla always kind of curls on the side where it's wrapped around,
That's the one
and that's the one that I've always had.
That mostly,
and I could have swore it had like a cheese base in it with the green chili, but
I mean, I get that one all the time, and if I have a choice,
I haven't had it forever.
So finally, I go to one of my neighborhood one. I go, hey, I'll take the 2 chicken flautas. I was like, point to the menu. I go, this is a dirtbag I am. Like, do you ever have chicken Crispitos? And they go like, they look at the menu, they're like, and they look at the thing they're dishing up for me. They go like, oh yeah, these are the chicken flautas, right? And I was like, yeah, but you also list chicken Crispitos. Yeah, I haven't seen those in a while. Like, yeah, motherfuckers, you don't have them, and you guys just like these are interchangeable to you.
They do not care. They do not care, dude.
I know.
They don't care.
I know, but like what is going on? Like, why even list them? Just list one or the other, and I can guarantee you, no scumbag like me comes in knowing the difference.
They talked about you for an hour.
This fucking asshole came in and pointed out the fact that...
You fucking hear that guy?
But it's like, seriously, like, why do you have all of this shit on your menu when you don't have that? I mean, God damn it, sorry.
We got a email from listener Michael. Been listening for many, many years.
Michael B.
Michael B. sent us a fantastic picture of, I believe, him and his brother from back in the 70s.
Probably, yeah, I would think so.
After we did our show
Over the Edge. Yeah, we did Over the Edge. We're talking about the decor in the
decor
homes.
in the house and the hanging plants
in New Granada.
In New Granada, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael sent us this picture of him and his brother standing in front of this massive hanging fern in their living room. And he says, hey guys, that hanging fern was as big as a VW Beetle. And apparently we just wore any clothing that wasn't in the dirty hamper that morning. Also, I owe you guys some more little bottles. It's been a long time.
Michael B would always, if there was any sort of event that I possibly was going to be at, if it was like, I think it was a couple of TBTL events, even the radio station I work for events, he would show up and he would give me a little airplane bottles of booze, which was always needed at those events, actually. Oftentimes sneak over and get a little pop of that.
Man.
Keep you going through the night.
Well, we'll always accept.
We'll always accept, except for, actually I would accept it now and I'd wait till February because it's dry January.
Yeah. Well, it's only,
it's coming. It's coming.
A couple days away now.
The shirt that he is wearing, I think it's him.
Yeah.
It's like a velour sort of
I remember
polo
that.
shirt.
I remember that shirt.
Like 2-tone velour.
Yep. 3-tone.
3-tone velour.
Yeah.
Me
you
and
got
my
brown
brothers,
on the bottom, orange in the middle, orange stripe in the middle,
like
separating the brown and the off-white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had several of those, and my brothers, as did my brothers, and I have many pictures of me wearing.
Those shirts got so fucking hot in the summer.
Oh, totally.
Oh my God. I just remember wearing those things and they were like hot to the touch. Yeah.
And if they got heated up, they smelled funny.
They did. Because they were made of like vinyl.
Vinyl, yeah. They'd smell like a hot vinyl car, you know? You're like, God damn. Yeah.
This last one, this is our
Mr.
last email from listener Mickey, SOD fan and Lewis County resident. And he sent us a link.
Down Lewis County?
Let's see, the title of his email is Future You Blew It. And this one, he sent us a link to a Vinegar Syndrome post on Facebook announcing that they're releasing China O'Brien 1 and 2 on Ultra HD and Blu-ray disc.
I am fucking doing goddamn backflips over here.
Yeah, so that's coming in March. So it looks like, or pre-order in March. So
let me just tell you
your alarms.
Let me just tell you this.
Cynthia Rothrock.
Rothrock. I think back on my days of consuming garbage movies straight to video back at Tom Thumb and various other places. Cynthia Rothrock and Don the Dragon Wilson littered the shelves back then. Mm-hmm. And I was never into Cynthia Rothrock as a young kid. I just was like, oh, this is this girl and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It took me until like recently to really appreciate Cynthia Rothrock is such a fucking badass. She has so many movies and they're so...
She really does.
Ridiculous and awesome. And this is one I rented when I was a kid. China O'Brien 1. I could never find 2 anywhere.
Uh-huh.
And I remember seeing like a magazine, there's part 2. Could never find part 2. They shot part 1 and part 2 simultaneously. It's the same director for Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon, Robert Klaus.
How long did they take to shoot one of those movies? Probably a couple of weeks, right?
Probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They shot 1 and 2 back to back. Never saw
Good
2.
Lord.
There's a guy in there named Keith Cook, who I believe went to like UW, who was an awesome martial artist. He had some awesome fucking fight scenes in these movies and straight to video movies. And he never did any, he like never like elevated above just like kind of being the side character in like a China O'Brien or something.
Sure.
It's a goddamn shame. But these movies, I think, made it to DVD, never got widescreen. They made it to Laserdisc, never made it to Blu-ray as far as I know. This is fucking awesome news.
Well, it sounds like we're going to be watching one of these.
Yes.
Coming up soon. So,
yes,
thank you.
I will order this
Mickey
for sure.
For the, for the suggestion.
God
because
bless.
That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Do we have something on the docket? What are we going to do for our next You Blew It? Is it Time Cop? Are we doing Time Cop?
We could do Time Cop, but we've also got this Roger Corman Star Wars wannabe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we got to do that one
like
first.
Star Crash, I think is what it's called.
All right, but then we're doing Time Cop after that.
Sure.
All right. Our next Van Damage.
Cool.
Series of Van Damage. Cool. All right, dude.
All right, pal. Well, hey, thanks for doing this.
You bet. This was fun.
It was. And look, if you have any crazes that you thought we missed or anything else that you want to send us,
there's going to be a ton of them.
SOD.podcast@gmail.com. Go ahead and send us an email.
Definitely. We want to go down memory lane with you.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
We'll get to your email next year, just like we did with these. And but please don't hesitate. So, all right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for doing this. And I'll insert something, maybe more Don West here to play us out.
Tell you what, let's do, folks. Let's give you the number for a single, SJ254. SJ254, $99.95. Average value over $425.
And I know.
And you get at least 3 autographs per box.